Look at Kansas City, 27 degrees. Temperatures continue to fall and road problems continue to mount up as we have a flash freeze going on. Wet roadways becoming icy roadways pretty quickly, especially places like this, bridges and overpasses.
Yeah, it's going to be very treacherous on the roadways. Those temperatures are going to continue to fall, not to mention the winds kind of adding some issues there as well today.
It's half past the hour. Welcome back to our continuing coverage of Winter Storm Hunter.
Hunter continues. It's pushed to the east today, impacting every state in the lower 48. We're tracking the threat for heavy snow, flooding, and dangerous ice. Places like Hastings, Nebraska have already seen snow and strong winds. Wind gusts this morning were near 45 miles per hour. Look at that, Paul.
Yeah, the winds right now in Kansas City around 20 miles per hour sustained here. This is the same storm system that devastated Southern California, all that heavy rain and mudslides. Now that system's moving across the Midwest, and now we have a wintry mess. We have blizzard warnings going on, areas of North Dakota and Minnesota, as well as numerous winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings, because not only snow, we have a freezing rain and icing situation going on right now within this area, and everything is sliding eastward as we head on towards this afternoon, tonight, tomorrow night, even into your Saturday as well. And yes, we can still see many areas 1 to 3, maybe even 5 to 8 inches of snow. But truly, the snow is the least of our concern right now because we have an icing concern, a freezing rain going on. Look at this, 13 in Omaha. Roads are frozen. Difficult to travel, and if you can, avoid it. Wait till the roads are treated. In temperatures in the teens, it is difficult for some of the ice melt to work in those conditions. Hence, the DOT crews are mixing with other things to help get traction on the roads here. But now we're seeing the changeover going on in Kansas City, even Des Moines. We're in the 20s. Quad Cities, this is headed your way. So get what you got to do outside now, and then get home by lunchtime. It's headed your way. It's going to be a mess this afternoon. 21 in Des Moines, snow falling there. Kansas City, we're still seeing that rain and freezing rain moving on through. And for contrast of temperatures, we're in the 20s in Kansas City. We're in the 50s in St. Louis. We're in the 50s in Columbia and Jeff City with some rain coming on through. So this is going to be a messy transition as we head throughout your day on Thursday. Let's put this in motion here. We move on through the morning hours, still seeing that purple heading on towards the Quad Cities, pushing on even up towards northern areas of Missouri. Still, as we head on past lunchtime, we're still watching this press into areas of Wisconsin. And yeah, the Quad Cities in the thick of this all afternoon long. Chicago just rained for you. You see the colder air come in just in time for our evening rush, and maybe some lingering flash freezes going on. Tonight, it's also going to be a mess into the St. Louis area, even Springfield, Illinois. And eventually, we'll see this push into the Ohio Valley. But the winds also howling out here. Blizzard conditions quite possible for many locations across the plains and the Midwest. Jackie?
Well, the Twin Cities is also getting hit with Winter Storm Hunter. Here's Jim Cantori.
Well, a quick January thaw for Minneapolis. Temperatures 42 yesterday, the first time in 20 days that we actually got above freezing. We could go another 20 days and possibly even more being below freezing. Wow. Here we go. Back into the deep freeze. A little bit of snow accompanying this. We knew that our snowfall forecasts were certainly coming down over the last couple of days, but we're going to wind up with less than an inch, leaving us still with an 18-inch snow deficit. That doesn't mean that folks in Minnesota are taking this not seriously. As a matter of fact, let me take you out to highway travel this morning. You can see what's going on. Cars slowing down quite a bit, even on Interstate 35 to less than 40 miles per hour, as Mike Seidel reported to me earlier this morning. And so, you know that just under this light snow, there's a little bit of water, and it's just starting to freeze back on the roads, especially as temperatures continue to drop through the teens. Speaking of those temperatures, our wind chills are going to go below zero this afternoon as the winds actually pick up here, believe it or not, and they start to weaken a little bit overnight, but unfortunately the air temperature just plummets. We will be below zero from our air temperature perspective tomorrow morning. The deep freeze is back in the upper Midwest.
Well, looking live right now at Cleveland, Ohio, a balmy 53 degrees this morning, but winter weather is right around the corner. In fact, a winter storm watch in effect for Cleveland. You could get a little wintry, icy mix for a brief period, but then snow. In fact, you probably need 2 hands to count the number of inches of snow that we're going to get across the Cleveland area. So let's talk a little bit more about these big changes coming. Dr. Greg Postel is with us.
Yeah, huge changes. A very powerful cold front is going to be moving through, and it's going to to move into areas that are raining, and that's going to transition that rain to freezing rain later on tonight and early tomorrow morning in roughly a swath about like this. Right now we're going for maximum amounts of accumulation or accretion of ice somewhere above 1/10 of an inch, maybe as much as 1/4 of an inch, all the way in this darker shade of lavender, right, all the way from, I would say, the Mid-South into parts of the Northeast. So again, the transition will be from rain to freezing rain, and then for some cases a little bit of snow, and I'll talk about that in a second. So that is enough to do some damage. 1/4 of an inch of ice makes the roads very dangerous to travel on and can bring some power lines down and branches down from trees as well. Right now, in that same swath, right, roughly in this zone, it's in the 50s, just as Jackie showed you. Cleveland right now in the 50s. Many other locations way above freezing. But that's about to change. And what I put on here is the area, the air mass that's below 32, and how it's steadily marching in that direction. So that's the sort of area shaded in purple. That's going to be undercutting the precipitation in a way about like this. Let me draw this out for you. So imagine we look at this zone right in here. So here's the ground, and what we're seeing is a lot of rain cloud and happening like that, where temperatures are pretty warm, but that cold air is coming in and undercutting that rain. And so we're seeing the transition from rain over here to freezing rain, and then to snow back in the cold air. That's kind of what we're seeing across parts of the Missouri Valley now. That is going to be felt for many in the Mid-South and Ohio Valley overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. That area shaded in purple, that's the freezing rain, where it's rain and then freezing on contact. And then the picture gets even more complicated with some snow moving in as the air mass overall gets cold enough to support that in the Ohio Valley, Pennsylvania, and Northeast as well. New England. Eastern New England escapes this one. The storm track isn't quite set up for a coastal New England event. This is more of an interior one where we're going to be seeing that all that kind of winter hazard there. The snow, the last part of the system as it moves through the Ohio Valley, will deliver about that much, and then into parts of the Northeast about that much. But notice that the I-95 corridor stays relatively warm this time around, but it will get colder in a couple of days. Jackie, back to you.
All right, well, let's talk about that I-95 corridor and New York City right now, where the temperature is 44 degrees and skies are cloudy, so thawing out a little bit before Hunter rolls on through and brings you a big drop in the temperature. So we are looking at really mild conditions all across parts of the east right now. You're kind of dealing with foggy or kind of drippy, at least overcast conditions across parts of the east, as that warmer air gets drawn up towards the north ahead of this system. So get outside, enjoy those mild temperatures. You hardly even need a jacket. New York City could be reaching the 60-degree mark for tomorrow, but a lot of moisture is going to be getting carried northward with this, and the potential of heavy downpours is great, especially into tomorrow. And then we'll kind of finish this off with that cold air. Now, one of the big concerns that we have is we still have a significant snowpack across parts of the Northeast. New York City, for example, you've got about 3 inches of snow on the ground. The Boston area, about 8 to 12 inches of snow on the ground. So this is going to be melting with the warmer temperatures. You put in the rain on top of that, and we do have some significant flood concerns, as well as ice jams that are going to be taking place. I know there have been some problems in the Albany area already for today. So here's a look at that forecast. The showers really picking up for tonight. The heaviest rain will be throughout the Northeast as we head through the day tomorrow and into your Friday night. Notice the icy conditions then on the backside of this. I think New York City probably going to stay all on the liquid side with this particular event. 1 to 2 inches of rain can be expected widespread, with a few spots reaching 3